His name is Robert, 67 years old, retired history teacher, grandfather of 5. And 2 years ago, his doctor gave him news that terrified him. Your cognitive test scores are declining, not dramatically, but consistently. Robert had always prided himself on his sharp mind. He could recall historical dates from memory, quote entire poems, never forgot a birthday. But now, the doctor was showing him numbers that told a different story. "Is this Alzheimer's?" Robert asked. "Not yet," the doctor said, "but your brain is aging faster than it should be." That night, Robert couldn't sleep. He kept thinking, "Is this it? Is my mind just done growing?" But what Robert discovered over the next 6 months changed everything he thought he knew about aging. And today, I'm going to share his story, because what he learned could add years of clarity to your life too. Let me take you back to where Robert was. February 2023. For months, he'd been feeling it, that slow fade. Names took longer to recall. Reading books felt harder. He'd finish a page and realize he hadn't absorbed a word. Conversations with his grandkids left him exhausted instead of energized. And the worst part? He'd started avoiding things that used to bring him joy. Playing chess with his grandson, leading his book club discussions, even teaching Sunday school at his church. Because he was afraid. Afraid he'd blank out mid-sentence. Afraid someone would notice he wasn't as sharp anymore. Is this what the rest of my life looks like? He wondered. Just fading? But Robert wasn't ready to accept that. So he started searching for answers. One afternoon, Robert stumbled across a book that changed everything. It was about something called neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to form new connections and even grow new cells, no matter your age. He'd always been told, you can't teach an old dog new tricks. But this research said the opposite. Scientists had discovered that the brain can regenerate throughout life, even into your 70s, 80s, and beyond. But only if you activate it the right way. Robert read about a study from UC San Francisco where older adults who practiced specific daily habits showed measurable growth in their hippocampus, the brain's memory center, in just 8 weeks. 8 weeks? Robert was skeptical, but also desperate. So he decided to test it himself. He committed to 3 simple habits, less than 10 minutes each, every single day. And what happened next shocked even him. Habit number 1, focused breathing. Robert learned that deep, intentional breathing increases oxygen flow to the brain and reduces cortisol, the stress hormone that shrinks brain cells. So every morning at 6 a.m., before coffee, before checking his phone, Robert would sit in his favorite chair and breathe. Not meditation, not prayer, just breathing. In for 4 counts, hold for 4, out for 6. 3 minutes, that's it. At first, it felt silly. How could breathing help my memory, he thought. But within 2 weeks, something shifted. His mornings felt clearer, less foggy, more awake. He didn't realize it then, but his brain was getting more oxygen, and it was waking up. Habit number 2, backward walking. This one sounds strange, I know. But Robert read a study from the University of Roehampton showing that walking backward activates parts of the brain that rarely get used, forcing new neural pathways to form. It challenges your spatial awareness, your balance, your coordination, and it only takes 4 minutes. So 3 mornings a week, Robert would go to an empty parking lot near his house and walk backward for 4 minutes, slowly, carefully, focused. At first, he could barely go 30 seconds without feeling dizzy, but after a month, he could do the full 4 minutes without looking back once. And here's what surprised him. His balance improved, his spatial memory sharpened, but more than that, his confidence came back. Because his brain wasn't just remembering better, it was learning again. Habit number 3, handwriting. Not typing, not texting, handwriting. Robert discovered research from Indiana University that handwriting activates multiple brain regions simultaneously, more than any other single activity. It strengthens the connection between memory, motor skills, and creativity. So every night before bed, Robert would sit down and handwrite for 3 minutes. Sometimes it was a letter to his grandkids, sometimes a journal entry about his day, sometimes just random thoughts. It didn't matter what he wrote. What mattered was the act of writing. After 6 weeks, Robert noticed something incredible. He could recall details from books he'd read months ago. He could hold complex ideas in his head without losing the thread. His words came faster, clearer, stronger. His brain wasn't just protecting itself anymore. It was growing. Fast forward 18 months. Robert went back to his doctor for another cognitive test. And this time, the results were different. His scores hadn't just stopped declining, they'd improved. Not just a little, significantly. His doctor said, "Whatever you're doing, keep doing it." But Robert already knew he would. Because these 3 habits, these 9 minutes a day, had given him something more valuable than a test score. They'd given him his life back. He was teaching again, leading his book club, writing letters to his grandkids that they'd keep forever. He wasn't just remembering better, he was living better. Now here's why Robert's story matters to you. These 3 habits work because they do something most brain exercises don't. They force your brain to build new pathways. Not just strengthen old ones, build new ones. Focused breathing floods your brain with oxygen and calms inflammation. Backward walking challenges spatial reasoning and balance, areas that fade first with age. Handwriting activates memory, creativity, and motor control all at once. And the best part? You don't need a gym membership. You don't need special equipment. You just need 9 minutes and the willingness to try. Because your brain isn't done growing. It's just waiting for you to wake it up. Robert told me something recently that I'll never forget. He said, "I spent 67 years thinking my brain was a fixed thing, but it's not. It's alive, and as long as I'm alive, it can grow." That's the truth most people never learn. Your brain isn't slowing down because of age. It's slowing down because it's not being challenged in the right ways. But you can change that, starting today. If Robert's story moved you, if you're ready to stop accepting decline and start activating growth, hit subscribe right now. Because next week, I'm revealing the one morning ritual that 90% of sharp-minded people over 70 have in common. And it's not what you think. And if this video gave you hope, smash that like button. It helps more people discover that their best years don't have to be behind them. Until next time, take care of your body, challenge your brain, and never stop growing.